Hey guys, it's Pat from Pat's Brewery, and I'm doing a craft beer pie. So I mentioned a couple of times in previous videos that I was thinking about doing a craft beer pie, and this is what we're doing. So just figured there's a couple of other videos out there that you'll be wanting to watch in addition to this. This is really just to show you where I'm up to with regards to the craft beer pie build. Not necessarily a build video. There's people out there that are more qualified than me, but what I'll do is I'll show you some of the sites that I've gone to and the pages that I've looked at that I've gone through to get to where I'm at. So I have got my craft beer pie on a small LCD display, but rather than making you look through that, we're going to hook you up to my PC so you can see everything from there as well. Okay, so first things first, a couple of websites that I highly recommend that you look at. Now, I know not everyone uses Facebook, but if you do, the Craft Beer Pie user group is a really great place for assistance with regards to problems that you're having and with regards to getting ideas for how to set up your own craft beer pie. Next website that I think that you need to also have a look and read through is at the Hop Edition. They've got a craft beer pie brewery build, which has been really useful with regard to the hardware side of everything. So covering things like RCDs, cable thickness. Obviously, Chris, who wrote this, does call out at the very beginning that he is not a certified engineer or electrician, so don't be a numpty and get your work checked out or take responsibility for your own actions. And that's the thing that I'll be saying as well. Anything that I do show you, I'm not responsible for any injury that you may occur as well. Last website, and it's the important one. But before we go on to that, something else to just call out with regards to the Hop Editions page. This links to a Craft Beer Pie version 3. Now, I tried to get Craft Beer Pie version 3 onto my Raspberry Pi, but it was a nightmare. And instead, I went over to Craft Beer Pie 4, and it's been relatively straightforward. Talking about Craft Beer Pie 4, the actual Craft Beer Pie support, openbrewing.gitbook.io craft beer pie. I'll drop a link in the description down below. But effectively, you need to go through this and read every single bit and just process through step by step by step. The only errors that I made when doing my craft beer pie build so far have been from where I haven't read things properly. So the details are all there. You just need to actually work through them. Now, one of the key things that I will call out with one of the mistakes that I did make is not enabling my one wire in the Raspberry Pi configuration setup. Once you've got that done, it's pretty much easy. Right, so with regards to my actual craft beer pie, so on the screen we can see my 3-vessel setup that I've done. Changed it to Pat's Brewery, otherwise it just says craft beer pie up there, but nice and straightforward. Obviously you don't have to have it as a 3-vessel. What you're able to do is customize your dashboard to have as many kettles as you want, and what you're able to do is also overlay images so that it looks nice and fancy. And to get the images onto Craft Beer Pie, just to make this bit a little bit more fun, is if you go to, I think it's System, then upload SVG widgets, you can upload there, so you can have any images that you want come up onto there. Also, you need to sort out your hardware. with regards to your Craft Beer Pi before any of your dashboard bits work. So that's saying what hardware you've got in there and what sensors you've got hooked up, and then potentially the thing that I was going to say potentially the most important part, but in a way you do need your kettles and bits and pieces, but your actors. So this is what the Craft Beer Pi then sends messages out to control different aspects in the real world. So as fancy as your dashboard looks, it doesn't need to. Actually, you just need buttons for your actors and it'll work just fine. So I've got 4 actors which will be hooked up to SSRs, which will then so Raspberry Pi hooked it up to SSRs so that the true power can go to the actual devices. So what are they? They're my 2 elements, my boil kettle element and my HLT element, and my HLT pump and my water pump. They are the 4 actual things. Now, because I like having lots of buttons and maybe overcomplicate things, I've also got a number of dummy actors and some group actors. Now, all these are actually for is so that when I press certain buttons, the dummy actors are used so that you see these bits that represent pipes. Each of those get associated to an actor, and sometimes, like say for example, I created a dummy actor which is HLT open. So when I turn that on, that opens. Now, if I wanted to, I could actually set up a electronic valve which would actually open that. But I'm putting a little bit of effort into my brew days and actually opening up the valves and bits and pieces myself. So that is a dummy actor, that's a dummy actor, that's a dummy actor. Now, HLT pump, this, and this is where I'll show you in real time. This is the actual wiring. Now, I know it looks a bit complicated, but effectively I've hooked up 2 LEDs for my elements and 2 LEDs to represent the pumps. So when I say HLT pump on, that one comes on, and when I say water pump comes on, that comes on. And if I was to turn on my HLT element, you can see that LED comes on, and if I was going to turn on my boil kettle element, that one comes on. So nice and simple. So what Craft Beer Pi then allows you to actually do is, obviously you could run this completely manually by having however many buttons and bits and pieces you want. With regards to controlling temperature, we've got our temperature probes, which are represented by these temperatures here. I've got 3 probes, 1 for each kettle. Then our target temperatures are set here, so chances are I'll be going in, mashing in, well, I'll be setting the HLT to about 71, 70 degrees, and then by using the auto mode, what would happen is that the LED would be on until we reached 71 degrees. That doesn't happen. I've also got this currently set up on with a plug-in for auto tuning, so that's not going to work right this second. But anyway, same thing with regards to the mash tun. Now, the mash tun I don't have any elements attached to, but what I am able to do is set it to 65 degrees. So what we're able to see is that's the target temperature, and we'll be able to register what we actually are up there. And same with regards to the boil kettle. Obviously we want 100 degrees C, have that, and then when we have that on auto, the element will come on and off. Effectively, this is just turning it into, you know, it's a electronic PID all in one device, effectively. Yeah, I mean, shall we just do a quick pretend dry run? I've got a quick run here, so things are only running through certain times, but effectively, as I run this, you can see that for the purpose of this, we have, I'll tell you what, so we need, and I'll use my hands to warm up the temperature probes and bits and pieces. So we need a 20 degrees to get the thing. So I'm going to warm up, oh, that's the mash tun. Going to warm up, no, there we go, let's warm up the HLT. We then get notified that the HLT is at the right temperature. So next step is to mash in. So I've got a mash in button. Oh. And open HLT, mashing in, so the pump will come on. Obviously we wait for enough liquid to get in there. Oh, we've overshot our targets, so maybe need to be a little bit aware of that. And once we've got enough water, what we'll do is we can stop mashing in. Oh, actually we've already hit mash there. So I'm going to have to just pause that. Right, we've now got enough liquid in, let's pretend, into the HLT. I mean, got enough liquid into the mash tun, and we're at roughly the right temps. So we've got everything closed off, and we're going to set our mash off. And I've got it for a 1 minute mash. Let's just skip that, pretend that the 1 minute's passed. We're next going to a roll off, and now the roll off activates the pump, which will then recirculate. Oh, that didn't quite work. So we're going to be recirculating into the mash tun. Yep. And then once the roll off's done, roll off, we're going to be sparging. So to sparge, we open the HLT, we're going to be sparging, and at the same time we're going to be going into the boil. Obviously all of this needs to be worked through and processed. I'm kind of just doing this as a bit of a show and tell. Then pretending that the sparge has gone properly without any issues, we hit the boil. Now for the boil, we want to be getting up to 20 degrees C in this instance, which, oh, let's just raise the temperature. You can see that now that we're above 20 degrees C, the actual light has gone off. Oh, now remember, I've got to turn off my pumps. So we're at temp, our boil's going on, adding our hops and bits and pieces, lovely. Once that's all done, we've got a stage for drop to whirlpool. So for that, we're going to be wanting to chill, and obviously I haven't got a wire that, or a pipe that feeds back into HLT, that feeds back into the boil kettle, but I would do, obviously. Then once this has got down to temperature, which it won't because I don't have a way of cooling it without blowing on it. But you kind of get the idea. You have these steps that are in place that kind of represent all of the different stages. Now, just to kind of call out, I am 100% maybe overcomplicating this. As I said earlier, all you need are the buttons that process your actual actors. This is just a digital representation of what should be happening. It might help me, it might hinder me, I don't know. With regards to the actual run through here, that's actually determined by your mash profile that you've got here, or your, I think it's referred to as the mash profile. Yeah, mash profile. Now I have seen some plugins where I think it actually pulls data from Brewfather, so maybe that's something to look into, but this is the full one, which has the correct temperatures and everything else in it. There's also actually one more thing it's worth looking into, is the GitHub Pi Brewing plugins. So this is where other people have added things like I mentioned earlier, the PID auto tune, so this will get your temperature probes all working properly. If you want to use a PT100 rather than, I think this is like it's like the DB1 something, sounds like something from Star Wars. But yeah, so also there's widgets and CO2 sensors, and I think I saw some like flow sensors and bits and pieces like that, plugins that people have done. Yeah, so all of this stuff is where I'm up to with regards to my build. And that's about it. I have actually got a new control box, and I'm starting to build that up. I'm going to be pilfering some parts from the old control box. The reason why, if you're wondering why I'm going away from the old control box onto this one, is that I burnt through a few parts on the old control box through not necessarily having the right safety features in place. Don't get me wrong, it was safe, but you know, I didn't have any RCDs in there. I didn't have the MCBs or MRBs, whatever they're called. And it was just certain things that I think I should have really had, and you know, to make it 100%. And I thought, if I'm going to be making my control box the best it can be, or as safe as it can be, really this was something that I thought would be fun and interesting for me to do. So that's why I've done this, if you are wondering, and you've got all the way to the end of this video. I'll put some links, as I say, to the videos that I found really useful. Andy from High Road Brewery, sorry. His videos have been a great help with regards to all of this. I'll maybe do a follow-up video if people are interested with regards to once it's all built and in place, just to run through it all. So I've been Pat from Pat's Brewery, doing a craft beer pie build, or a little bit of a show and tell. Cheers.